on Sirius XM channel 127. Wednesday, January 13th, and history was just made. Donald Trump, the first president ever impeached twice. This time it should be the impeachment part 2. This time it's personal. Donald Trump is really making impeachment great again, isn't he? Unreal. What I want to read a little bit, though, is of the article of impeachment, because the language in there is right on point. It alerts the world to the danger that Donald Trump poses to our nation. They wrote, President Trump gravely endangered the security of the United States and its institutions of government. He threatened the integrity of the democratic system, interfered with the peaceful transition of power, and imperiled a co-equal branch of government. And went through all of what he had done. It's only one article. It's called Incitement of Insurrection. And it concludes with, wherefore Donald John Trump, by such conduct, has demonstrated that he will, if allowed to remain in office, will warrant impeachment and trial because his manner is grossly incompatible with self-governance. Absolutely right. Now, of the 211 Republicans in the House, only 10 joined with him. Out of 211 Republicans, only 10 joined to impeach Donald Trump, even though he unleashed an insurgency at them. They could have been killed. Only 10. As I always say, if you're waiting for Republicans to do the right thing, you'll be waiting forever. People become Republican officials so they don't have to do the right thing. It makes it so easier. If you want to do the right thing, you become a Democrat. You want to help people. You don't want to do the right thing, you run for office as a Republican. That's what they do. To remind people, while today only 10 Republicans joined in doing the right thing, last week, after the riot, they came back and 138 Republicans in the House voted not to certify Joe Biden's votes for various states. So think about that. Today, only 10 voted to impeach Trump, but last week, 138 voted to amplify Donald Trump's lies that led to the insurrection. This is the GOP. I'm telling you, and we'll talk about it more tomorrow or Friday. GOP is less and less an American political party and more the first fascist movement on a major level in the United States of America. The GOP is becoming a fascist movement, and I mean that not hyperbolically, I mean it academically. We'll talk about that maybe tomorrow or the next night. There were some remarkable arguments by various Democrats who went up there, did a great job. You had Maxine Waters, one of the first, destroying Trump, and the list goes on. There was a great point made by Congressman Seth Moulton, a veteran himself, that there are literally more troops, National Guard troops, surrounding the Capitol to keep them safe than currently stationed in Afghanistan. And the reason we have more troops around the Capitol than in Afghanistan, as the congressman pointed out, is because of the threat posed by Donald Trump. That's remarkable, isn't it? Various Democrats did a phenomenal job. Congressman Jamie Raskin, Congresswoman Omar, Cori Bush, and others, Brenda Lawrence. So many stood out doing a great job today. And on my show, we'll play more of those clips. What was the Republicans' arguments? Well, in a nutshell, there were a few. One was that they were afraid, they weren't saying this, but Democrats were, that Republicans are reported, true, in Politico and other places in the House, actually wanted to support impeachment, but they were afraid to, because they were afraid that Trump's base would not vote them out, would actually kill them or hurt their family. So out of fear, and that's what fascism is, it's the use of violence for political gain. So you have the fascist base of the GOP. Here's the thing, Republican members of Congress. In 2017, I wrote an article denouncing Donald Trump and his refusal to denounce white supremacy. It was before Charlottesville, months before. What happened? The guys at the Daily Stormer, these neo-Nazis who love Trump, fabricated tweets saying I was involved in terrorism and directed their followers to come after me. And I got a bunch of death threats from these people. And Daily Stormer readers include people like Dylan Roof and other people who have committed acts of terror. Was I afraid? Yeah, I was concerned, but they were not going to silence me. I sued them for defamation. I won in federal court, and I criticized Trump from the next day on more than ever, from articles on my radio show. If you're a Republican in Congress and you're literally afraid of your own base is going to kill you, then resign. And let someone with some courage be in Congress. That's your job. You're risking your life for America. Yes, you are. Don't run for Congress if you don't want to do that. It's unbelievable. That's part of it. And that may have been a facade, but that was part of it. Another thing we heard from Republicans in Congress, that if you impeach Trump, you're going to anger the people in the GOP base. So the people who bring you the war on terror, the Republicans, now want to bring you appeasement of terrorists. You're kidding me. There should never be a decision based on what's going to make the terrorist happy or what's going to make the terrorists more angry. You know what you do, GOP? Eradicate the extremists in your party, which I wrote about just yesterday. 22% of Republican base support the attack. That's 1 in 5 Republicans are down with violence. Got to keep that in mind. GOP, you should be afraid. You've cultivated and coddled terrorists. They're in your wings. They're in your party. If you don't get rid of them, they're going to come to your door. Maybe they're going to do something. So get rid of them instead of being afraid of them. Unbelievable. Then the big thing we heard from Republicans, oh, they want unity now. Oh, is that adorable? The Republicans, the ones who defended Donald Trump's white supremacy, his Muslim ban, demonizing immigrants, his sexism, everything. Donald Trump's entire campaign was about pitting Americans against each other, anger, ginning up hate, which is another factor of fascism, which we'll talk about tomorrow. Now they want unity. I have a question. Whom do the Republicans want us to unite with? Do they want us to unite with the white supremacists, the QAnon supporters, the Proud Boys, the other militia extremists in their base? That's who you want us to unite with? Never happening. We want nothing to do with them. That's your problem. Eradicate them. It's unbelievable. You want us to unite, GOP, with the people who killed a police officer and beat him to death with a fire extinguisher? Or how about, do you want us to unite with the Trump supporters who we saw on video beat cops with Trump flags? You want us to unite with the Trump supporters who breached the Capitol to stop the peaceful transition of power? That's who you want us to unite with? No, we want nothing to do with them. You want to stand shoulder to shoulder with those un-American, traitor, seditious conspirators. It's your choice. We're not going to do it. It's unbelievable. The GOP is soulless as a party. They truly are. 10 people, 10 out of 211 did the right thing today. 10. We saw an insurrection a week ago in that very chamber where they stood today. They were standing in the scene of the crime. And many of them, or at least some of them, would have been killed if these people had their way, as we are learning now. And one of the congressmen, or actually many of them, but one specifically, was reading from Trump's speech. And they kept bringing up this point, Congressman McClintock, but others, that Trump's speech said the word peaceful. Yes, Trump read the word peaceful in that speech. How many times did Donald Trump say the word peaceful in his speech on January 6th? Once. How many times did Donald Trump say fight? 20 times, literally 20. How many times did he invoke violent imagery in that speech? Countless times. And keep in mind, this was not just a January 6th speech. As the article impeachment notes, Donald Trump for 2 months was radicalizing these people to want to commit violence. Then he had a calling around the country, self-selecting, bringing the most angry and violent to Washington, D.C. On a specific day, January 6th. Trump didn't randomly pick that day. That was the day federal law mandated the certification of electoral votes. Trump had them there to stop the counting. There's no rocket science. And while I use the word peaceful, think about this. This was not a rally before an election night where you can say, go fight, and we're going to fight, and we're going to win. We're going to take America back. That's different. You have a peaceful means to acquire that by voting. You can use fiery rhetoric, and fiery rhetoric is protected. It should be. But think about the words Trump said on January 6th. And keep in your mind, there was no peaceful vehicle to change the election at that point. All the recounts were done. All the lawsuits were over. The electoral counts, college had voted. All there was left was a certification. There was no voting going on. So when Donald Trump told that crowd of rabid people who came around the country to fight for Trump, because they kept chanting, fight for Trump, what did he tell them? He told them they want to steal this election. The radical left knows exactly what they're doing. They're ruthless. And it's time that somebody did something about it. And he also said, they're trying to steal this. And he said, we're not going to let it happen. And then he talked about Joe Biden. He goes, we're stuck with a president who lost the election by a lot. We're just not going to let that happen. We're not going to let that happen. Someone's got to do something about it. There is no peaceful vehicle to achieve that. Zero. There's none at that point. All there was violence. And that's what Trump called for. The Republicans today, except for the 211, of the 211 who did not vote for impeachment, they know this. They're not children. They have common sense. They know exactly what happened. Today, the GOP chose to stand with Trump and QAnon and the Proud Boys and white supremacists and 3% militia members over the United States of America. Because one, you could say, well, they're afraid of their base. Or second, what I actually subscribe to is they agree with them. The GOP is becoming a fascist movement in America. We'll talk about that a lot more. I think people have got to start using the word fascist and use it academically correct so it's not hyperbolic. They call us socialists every day. We're not socialists. They are a party of fascists. It's time we inform our fellow Americans about an American fascist movement is on our soil. It's up to us to stop it because it's going to get worse. So I'll talk about that and more a lot in my show. Again, my show is live 6 to 9 p.m. on Sirius XM, channel 127. Go check it out. Free trials. Go to Sirius XM. Check out a free trial. Call the show. We're on the Progress Channel. Be a part of this. Look, it's not over. Trump's gone in 1 week. In fact, I actually have it calculated. He's gone in 162 hours. It's a lot of work to be done. If you want progress, stay active. Join us. Be a part of our movement. Thanks for tuning into the preview of tonight's Dino Budala Show.